the windows that we're kind of calling them, they're like portals into the medieval life through back into the 21st century. And the objects at the top, they kind of represent, they're kind of metaphors for the story and the way that Claude was living in the medieval times, but also how he is living today and how that is affecting his life. And the windows were created by the very famous Jane Wilson over here. Local artist. Okay, sure, give us a read.
The Medieval Sitting Duck, a reported story of a man, alias Claude de Thomas, who comes from the 21st century, but is being sent back in time to live in medieval Britain because of the governmental welfare cuts and reforms that are affecting all of us, here and now. Report number 2, Cuts and Chains. Claude was fearful of rejection, and only too aware that anyone identified as not being the same was treated with suspicion, particularly in a village that was falling on hard times with crops failing. Disabled people, or those deemed as different, were often used as scapegoats. People working with dragons were particularly targeted. The last thing Claude wanted was the dragon police to go on a witch hunt and come knocking on his door. Indeed, the dragon police, who are the assessors, could arrive at any time to conduct a series of detailed physical and physiological tests to establish if an individual was a witch or not, elaborately storing several instruments under their hats with which to conduct these tests. A tiny seed planted amongst the village folk would evolve into a conspiracy theory, turning locals against one another. Anything foreign or different created fear.
Thank you for that. So the community of the disabled community of Much Wenlock, is there such a thing, Leslie? Is there any campaigning groups or disability access groups in Much Wenlock, or?
There is, yes, there is, but I wouldn't say that it was a campaign group. But there are a number of people in Much Wenlock who take access as such into seriously and frequently draw the council's attention to the fact that there is no disability access into the council chamber where decisions which affect the community are taken. And this is very unfortunate, and it was something which myself and one or two other councillors looked at, or at least myself and the town clerk at the time looked at when I first became a councillor, and we worked hard to involve Shropshire Council to fund an architect who would look at the 16th century Guildhall where the council has met. As I said, the council has met unbroken since 1540. To look at the Guildhall to do a feasibility study about putting in disabled access and so as to make the council chamber accessible for all. And it took a long time to get this together and a long time for the report to come through, and the architect came up with what we felt was a fairly ingenious plan, whereby a lift would be, a glass covered lift, would be simply attached to the outside of the building. It's going to cost a lot of money, but that's money. Money often isn't the criteria for things not happening. Money isn't actually often the problem. It's the will and determination and legislation, which sometimes impedes change. And in the case of the Guildhall, it was English Heritage who stepped in and said that it was entirely inappropriate to alter the Guildhall in any way.
Right.
Even though it had been altered considerably in Victorian times. So from now on it's...
So that means that you can't have any disabled or wheelchair users on the town council?
Well, the town council discussed this in great detail.
Oh. Can't get rid of my own mobile. Oh gosh, how bad is that? Sorry.
The town council discussed it in great detail, and we decided that should anyone with mobility problems want to stand for council, we would temporarily move the location of council meetings.
So does it
Probably to here to the Priory.
So do disabled people of Much Wenlock know that then?
Yes, oh yes, it's been well documented and talked about.
So, but we don't have anybody coming forth. Maybe we ought to have somebody coming forth.
2013, that's when the elections are, and there'll be a number of places vacant in the council. So, well, the whole council comes over the election, so 2013 is the